And I will.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. We'll just give it 1 minute just to see if anyone else joins. Just to let you know, this info session is being recorded, just so you're aware in case you want to turn your camera off.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for joining today on your lunch hour, if you're in BC PDT or in the North PDT.
Yukon.
Yukon, awesome. Welcome. Yeah, feel free to say hi in the chat if you like, where you're dialing in from today and what your startup name is. We'll get started in just 1 minute. Give it 1 minute. Okay, I'll just get started. So hi, everybody. I'm sure more folks will join as the hour goes by. My name is Rachel. I'm Program Director at AccelerateIP. Thanks so much for coming today. I'll just do a quick intro of the team. So we also have Angie Schick, who's Executive Director at New Ventures BC, working on AccelerateIP. We have Supri Kaur, Program Manager at Innovate BC, and we have Chala Buzluk, Program Coordinator at AccelerateIP. So thanks so much for joining today, and we hope that you get some good information about the program. So about AccelerateIP. We're part of an Elevate IP initiative, which is actually a Canada-wide program. So there are organizations across Canada delivering.
Programme. M'arrive faux, ça. J'aurais pas.
Oh, if everyone. Hello? Do you mind just muting? And if you have a question, if you could please put it in the chat. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're part of an Elevate IP initiative, which is a Canada-wide program. There's organizations across Canada delivering this. We're delivering on behalf of BC, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. We are delivering this program at New Ventures BC, which is a nonprofit that supports tech organizations in BC. And we're working closely with Innovate BC, a Crown Corporation, as our prime collaborator. We also have additional partners and collaborators across all these regions. And just want to say too, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop a question in the chat and we'll answer them at the end, or just hold your question and at the end we'll do a Q&A session where you'll be able to raise your hand and we'll stop sharing the screen and you'll be able to ask your questions. So we're just going to kind of run through the presentation and then we'll have time for questions at the end. Just wanted to mention that this program is generously supported by Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. So thank you very much to ISED for your funding. Next, just wanted to mention all of the partners and collaborators. We're very lucky to have an amazing group of partners and collaborators across all of our regions, as shown on the screen. The reason that these are important is these organizations will be carrying out certain aspects of the program, like they can help you refer you to the program, they can help with mentorship, and they can help answer your questions about the program. They'll also be doing events in different areas, so look out for that in the future. So for AccelerateIP, we have 3 streams of programming, and that's to kind of give different levels of programming depending on where all startups are at. And if everyone can just please mute your microphone, that'd be great. Thank you. So stream 1 is awareness, which is education. Stream 2 is strategy, which encompasses mentorship and legal costs. And stream 3 is implementation, which covers legal costs. So first off, we'll just go over the general program eligibility. So each stream does have progressive requirements, but the general eligibility is quite wide as we want all startups to be able to participate. So basically, you need to be a startup based in BC, Yukon, Northwest Territories, or Nunavut. You need to have fewer than 500 full-time employees, and you need to have an innovative technology or just operate in the tech sector. So we ask for them to be tech startups or have a very innovative technology. Also, if you're a nonprofit organization, if you meet the above requirements, you may also apply. So first up, the stream is education. Education encompasses a few different activities. First, we have free foundational content. So that's online modules that you'll be able to access. seminars and webinars. Those are put on by New Ventures BC and also by our partners and collaborators throughout the regions. Those would be either online or in person. We also have a very special program called the IP Certification Program. This is a cohort program. It's offered up to, for now, 4 times a year. It may increase. And we'll also, it's either in person or online, depending on the cohort that you apply to. It encompasses 3 weekends of programming, and you'll be working with esteemed IP experts that are authors of the Intellectual Property Guide. More information about it will be on our website, and it's a really amazing program, so we highly encourage everyone to apply. Application info for Stream 1 education. So we really want this open to all comers, except for the certification program has a bit of an application process, but everything else, it's basically, you can just register and attend like you did today. So you have to meet the general eligibility that we put up. Events are open to all, so you can register either on the New Ventures BC website or on our partner websites, depending on the event that's being held. And some folks may, provide an Eventbrite link or something like that. For foundational training, you'll just register in our portal. So we do have an application portal. It's with SurveyMonkey Apply. You go to the portal, you register an account, and you'll be able to sign up and get links for foundational training. The ones that are in there now are linking to free online resources that have already been created that are proven and quality resources, but we're also creating our own our own course as well. So that'll be available soon. The IP certification program, as I've mentioned, that you have to apply in portal just because we have limited spots. So we can't necessarily let everybody in, but we will have lots of opportunities for everyone to come. So there's 15 spots in each cohort. It's for now 4 times a year, as I mentioned. You apply in the portal. There's an initial IP assessment. Don't feel like you need to know everything in that IP assessment or you have to have all the answers correct or perfect to get into the program. It's not about that. It's more so that we know where you're at so we can let the instructors know kind of the level of the folks in the course. There's also just a few application questions like what you want to get out of the course and that you're committed to actually completing the full course because it is 2 full days. As the initial weekend, then it's 1 full day, and then there's 2 half days. So it's quite a big commitment, but you are also getting quite a lot out of it. So that one is open for applications. The deadline is October 15th, which I know is super soon, but we will keep it open until it's filled, just in case it's not filled. And don't worry, if you miss this one, there will be lots coming up in the future. You can still apply. We're not going to shut the portal down. So you can just put your application in. And if we're full for October 15th, we'll just waitlist you for January. January will be online. So if you are in Vancouver and you prefer to do it in person, you can also hang on for the next cohort that will be in Vancouver. We also are definitely looking at putting cohorts in other areas of BC and the North so that all folks have opportunities to do it in person. So look out for that in the future as well. And then next up, strategy. So one really cool offering is a one-to-one mentorship program. So all of those amazing accelerators, incubators, and collaborators, a lot of those organizations have amazing executives and residents, mentors available at their organizations, and they're will be able to help you assess your IP strategy within a business context, review your commercialization strategy, help you work with the legal service provider and prep for meeting, and it's up to 8 hours per startup. So say you're like, I want to get started working on my IP strategy, but I don't know where to start. This is a great place to start. You can kind of work out what you think you might need and also maybe get help. How do I reach out to a legal service provider? What do I want to ask them? How much should things maybe cost? Or if you have these kinds of questions, this is a great place to start. So the education is a great place to start and mentorship, great place to start. And just some application info, you need to meet those general program eligibility requirements that we put on the beginning. And in addition, you have to answer that initial IP assessment. So that will be one thing. And there is just a short mentorship application form as well. It just asks a few additional questions. If you're already working with an accelerator at a partner or collaborator that is connected to AccelerateIP, you can apply with that mentor. And if they're part of the program, then we can pair you with them. And if not, we will find another mentor for you and we will do that pairing for you. There are some priorities for the program. So they're noted on the screen. So we have some priority sectors, and we also prioritize startups with majority ownership by underrepresented groups or startups referred by a partner or collaborator. That said, all are welcome to apply. So if you don't meet any of those priorities, no worries, you can still apply. Oh, we're open now for applications, and these will be approved on a rolling basis. So next up, I will pass it over to my colleague Supreet, who will take it from here about Stream 2 strategy.
Thank you, Rachel. In the next few slides, I will cover streams 2 and 3 of the program. Stream 2 strategy, legal costs. So under this stream, startups may apply for supports towards developing an IP strategy, and startups may be eligible for up to $25,000 in supports with a matching co-investment requirement of 25% or 10% if you are an indigenous owned startup. Yeah. Next slide, please. Thank you. In this slide, we can see a list of eligible activities under Stream 2. So activities such as IP audits, IP landscaping, legal contractual analysis, competitive analysis, all of these are eligible under Stream 2. Here we have a list of eligibility requirements for Stream 2 strategy supports. Over and above the general eligibility that Rachel covered, startups must also meet other eligibility requirements for specific streams, specifically for Stream 2 and 3. So startups must have either completed an educational offering from Stream 1 or should be an existing client of a partner or collaborator or be deemed eligible by the initial IP assessment. They should answer initial IP assessment and also complete a Stream 2 application form on the portal. Startups must provide a quote from a legal service provider. And for Stream 2, priority will be given to startups from equity-seeking groups and for startups in the clean tech, health tech, or the data tech sectors. Stream 2 is also open for applications, and applications will be approved on a rolling basis by the team. In the next slide, we have Stream 3, which is implementation supports or implementation costs. Startups may apply to be supported in implementing one or more components of their IP strategy, and they may be eligible for up to $60,000 in support to cover costs with a legal service provider. The matching co-investment requirement is similar to that of Stream 2, which is 25% or 10% if it is an indigenous owned startup. And in the next slide, we can see a list of eligible activities under Stream 3. So activities such as IP registration, filing fees, patent applications, trademark applications, and registering trademarks are all eligible activities under Stream 3. We have a list of both Stream 2 and 3 eligible activities also on the portal for reference. Next slide, please. Thank you. Here we have listed the eligibility requirements for Stream 3, and again, similar to Stream 2, startups must meet general program eligibility requirements and also should apply on the portal using the Stream 3 application form. So specific eligibility criteria for Stream 3 is that startups must be incorporated. They must answer all the initial IP assessment questions and also complete the Stream 3 application form. Startups must provide a quote from a legal service provider and should be able to demonstrate a strong IP strategy. For Stream 3, startups must have completed either Stream 2 of AccelerateIP, Level 2 of IP Assist program, or an equivalent training, or should have completed Stream 1 startup certification program. Or they must be willing to complete this, the Stream 1 of startup certification program, or should have an in-house IP expert on staff. All of these requirements can be demonstrated in the application form. So we would request you to upload proof on the application form and just provide more details that you meet all of these or any of these requirements. There is a competitive application process. All the applications for Stream 3 will go through a selection committee. And similar to Stream 2, priority will be given to clean tech, health tech, and data tech sectors, and companies that are majority owned by underrepresented groups. And startups should also be referred to the program by a partner or a collaborator. Those applications will also be given priority. Applications for Stream 3 are open until October 31st, 2023, and we will be reopening applications in Jan 2024 as well. Here we have the application deadlines. So Stream 1 IP certification program, as Rachel mentioned, these applications will close on October 15th, or when the spaces are filled for this for the first cohort. We will be reopening applications again soon after that, or you can just apply on a rolling basis. For Stream 2 IP mentorship, applications are open, and applicants will have the option to waitlist if a mentor is not immediately available. Stream 3 IP strategy supports applications are also open, and so are applications for Stream 3. For Stream 3, as I just mentioned, the first cohort or the first applications that is going to close on October 31st, and we will reopen applications on Jan 2024. This program, AccelerateIP program, will run until March 31st, 2026, and all activities under Stream 2 and Stream 1 must be completed before 31st of March, 2026. Yeah, and with that, I will pass it back to Rachel to cover the review process and also go over some frequently asked questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Supreet. And just to add about the activities needing to be completed. So just wanted to add to that, just that we won't be able to take applications all the way up to that endpoint, just because, as Supreet mentioned, all the activities have to be completed. So we will be likely closing the application process a little bit earlier than March 31st, given that some stream activities like patent applications, et cetera, may take quite a bit of time. So review process for all outcomes, you'll receive an email to notify you if you're about your application status. So we'll tell you if maybe you weren't successful, if it's incomplete, approved, conditionally approved, or waitlisted. If it's incomplete, we'll get back to you and let you know, hey, we need a bit more information here. So it's not going to be like we reject it. If it's incomplete or something's unclear, we will definitely give you a chance to clarify or update your application. If it's approved, you get kind of an automated email from the portal letting you know. And for most programs, you'll need to kind of accept that application approval. So say you get into the cohort program, you'll need to go in and be like, yes, I will take that spot. And that's just to make sure that, you applied a bit of time ago, you still want that spot. We have guaranteed you that spot. And also for the Stream 2, 3 applications, you'll need to kind of just sign an award letter saying, yes, I understand how much funding I'm getting. I understand which activities I'm approved for, and I understand how much is my responsibility to pay. So those are kind of those basic application process things. If you're rejected or unsuccessful, I guess rejected is a bit of a harsh term here. Sorry about that. We will generally just reach out to you in an email from the programs team and explain just, that you're unsuccessful. It doesn't mean that you can't reapply in the future. So say you apply to Stream 3 and you're unsuccessful because we think you need a stronger IP strategy. That just means that you could apply to Stream 2, get that strategy, and then reapply. So it doesn't mean that you can't reapply in the future. It just means that at this point, we just feel that you weren't ready. Or in that case, Stream 3, the selection committee is, kind of suggested that you weren't ready. So we're very open to reapplication and working with you throughout. It's a 3-year program, so we understand that you will make progress over the 3 years if you're taking different streams. Okay, so we will be reviewing the Stream 1 certification program as those applications kind of close on the 15th. I put it in quotes because we will still look at them if we get ones after and we're not full, but we're kind of looking at those first and laying out those first approvals after that. Stream 2 mentorship is going to be rolling, as Supreet mentioned, so we'll just approve them as we come in and as we have mentors available. And for Stream 2 strategy, again, it's going to be rolling. And just keep in mind, this just opened up. So if you have applied and you haven't heard back yet, we will get to you as soon as we can, and we will aim to do that within a timely manner. And as soon as we kind of see how long it takes for the team to be reviewing these these applications, we will give more details as to how long you can expect to receive your application approval back. I think just bear with us as this is a soft launch. We just started. We're just working out all the processes. And as soon as we kind of get those really streamlined, we'll give you more details as like how much time you can expect. I know it's hard if you apply for something, you're waiting for that to be approved. It can be hard to be on the waiting end of that, and we understand. Stream 3. So because this has a selection committee, Just letting you know too, stream 2 is reviewed by the programs team. So that's a bit more straightforward, but stream 3 is a selection committee. So the selection committee can only sit at certain times, which means, you know, the applications come in, it's a competitive application, and then the selection committee reviews and will let you know. So that's why that can't really be, you can't really be letting, we can't advise you of your application status until November, till the selection committee has a chance to review. So it goes through a pre-screen first from us. Again, if it's incomplete, we'll let you know, and then goes to the selection committee. Stream 2, as I mentioned, it's the programs team, and stream 3 I've mentioned, so I jumped ahead there. So we've received a lot of awesome questions, and they're really helpful for us to kind of know what we might want to clarify. Just to say too, we don't have program guidelines quite up yet on our website. We do have details about the program, but we will be posting detailed program guidelines as well. So hopefully those will also be helpful. I'm just going to run through these questions quickly. I know you can read them on the screen. So, but I think because they're common questions, it might just be good to just speak them out loud. After I go through this, then you'll have the opportunity to ask us your questions too, but maybe your question is captured here. So can you apply to any of the streams, or do you have to do them in order? So you don't necessarily have to do them in order. We know all startups are coming to the program with different levels of expertise in their IP. So we just ask that you meet the eligibility requirements for the stream before you qualify. And on the portal, it will help you with that. It will ask you those eligibility questions so you can see. Also, you know, you might be a stream 3 startup, like you already have a solid IP strategy. That doesn't mean you might not benefit from the stream 1 certification program, just because that is a really great opportunity to get a deep dive into your strategy with IP experts. It never hurts to have a second look. So I would say, just think about that too. Like, we're offering all of these things to you. You can take advantage of them, even if you think maybe you already have a strong strategy. Does it help to take a second look? Has something changed in your business since you last did that strategy? That kind of thing. Can you apply to multiple streams simultaneously? I mean, you technically can, but there's one thing to think about is that you, for example, streams 2 and 3, some folks have asked about that. You do need a strong IP strategy before you apply to stream 3. So if you're applying to them both at the same time, it's really better to do stream 2 first and then do stream 3, because you want to get that strategy in place. And I know maybe people are worried because the deadline's approaching and you want to get it all in, but we will be reopening it. So have no fear. Like, if you're not ready for stream 3 yet, apply to stream 2, get the strategy in place, and then apply to stream 3 once they reopen in January. The program is running for quite a while, so there's no need to do it like all right now, just to make sure that you get approved. And I know if I was doing it, I might think that way. So just putting that out there. Can you apply to stream 2 and 3 more than once? So stream 2 -2 is the strategy support, so the 25,000. Yes. So we do understand maybe you apply for strategy, you spend, you get $5,000 from AccelerateIP, but you have technically up to 25 available to you if you are approved. So you can do that activity and you can reapply the next year if you have not maxed out. It's not actually a year, it doesn't have to be a year, but you can reapply if you haven't maxed out. Also, in terms of, I know I mentioned you can reapply if you're unsuccessful with the stream. We do ask, if you're reapplying for the same stream twice, that you do give it some time. So we don't want to see that you apply to stream 3 and you're unsuccessful and then you just apply again the next time, like right away. We would like to see that you've worked on your strategy, or you've worked on the things that we've pointed out, and give it a little bit of time. So just going to throw that in there as well. So can you apply to stream 2 and 3 with an activity that's not listed within the eligible activities? So you can. So basically, when you go through the portal, you'll need to check off which activities you're applying to. You can, it says other, you could list something else and you can list it. And I think in this initial stage where we haven't had the chance to have startups apply yet, and we don't know, maybe necessarily, perhaps we missed something that we could have put as eligible, but we haven't included it. It can be helpful for us to see what startups are interested in. So you could put it, but just that said, since it's not on the eligible list of activities, it may not get approved, and be aware of that, but it won't affect the rest of your application. So if you apply for like 4 things that are already eligible, and then you put this other wildcard in, we might just deny that other, but we can have the capacity to approve the others. And this is a popular question, if you can file an international patent or work with a service provider in the US. And yes, the answer to both are yes. Of course, we'd love to support our folks that are local here in Canada, BC, the North. But if for whatever reason you need to work with a US lawyer, or you're already working with one, that's really fine too. We want to support you in what you need to get done. And of course, you can file an international patent, and that is eligible with the program. Can you get support for in-house activities? So no, that wouldn't be eligible in expense because the way the program is set up, AccelerateIP can only pay service providers directly. We cannot have any funds flowing to startups. So if you have an in-house IP lawyer, that person would likely be an employee of your company, and then the funding is going to your company and it's not going to a service provider. So that would be why that is a no. You already have a mentor, great. And can you apply with your mentor? So if you have an external IP mentor or you have a mentor at an accelerator, that's great. So on the application for mentorship, you can note who they are. Because of the nature of the program, that mentor needs to be working with one of our partners or collaborators. So as long as they are, and that they're eligible and they're taking part in the program, not all mentors at every organization are taking part, then yes, you can continue to work with that same mentor. Retroactive applications, that's a really popular question too. So this goes back to that sort of caveat of we can't pay startups directly. So in certain cases, yes, we can accept retroactive applications. Say you just did some work with a legal service provider like a week ago and they haven't billed you yet. Yes, you could apply with that and then we would have the capacity to potentially approve you and that would be fine. So we can do retroactive actually all the way back to April 2023. The only caveat, as I said, we can't pay startups directly. So if you already paid that bill, you paid that invoice, we don't have a method of being able to approve you in the program because we can't reimburse you as a startup, if that makes sense. So just unpaid invoices, we can do retroactively. The co-investment structure, so as Supreet mentioned, you need to either invest 25% or 10% to the service provider, depending on your situation. And AccelerateIP is covering either up to $25,000 or $60,000 per stream. And just to note, like if the bill is higher, say you're billing $100,000 or something like that, of course, you are putting in 25%, but since we can only put in $60,000, you are responsible for any bills in excess of what we can cover. So it works up to 25%. Say it was, a $50,000 bill, then you pay your 25%, we pay the rest. But yes, if it's a very large bill, then our caps stay intact. And for clarification on that too, when you get your award letter that you sign, it will be very clear on how much AIP can pay. So you're very clear on how much that you are responsible for. And now, the best time, it's time for Q&A. I'm going to stop showing my screen. And again, just for any folks that join late, this call is being recorded. So if you don't feel comfortable having your face here on the Q&A, please feel free to turn off, or if you do feel comfortable, feel free to go on camera to ask your question. How it'll work, if you have a question, please just raise your hand and we'll just answer them as we see them on the screen. So thank you so much.
Oh, there's a few in the chat too, Rachel, if you want to start with those.
Ooh. Oh, we have chat questions. Okay, let's hop in there first. Okay. Who are the typical IB mentors? Are they IP lawyers or specialists? That's a great question. So the mentors are actually not IP lawyers. They are executives and residents and mentors. So they work at accelerators or incubators. They're experts in business, but they are not legal experts. They have taken training in IP, so they have some basic knowledge that they can share, and they're looking at your startup from a business perspective. So if you're looking more for legal advice, you would be applying to the Stream 2 strategy. If you're looking more for like, how could this fit into my business? How can I approach a legal service provider? That's when you're going to the mentorship side. Good question.
Although, Rachel, there are certainly, depending on the accelerator, there are certainly mentors that have quite a bit of IP commercialization experience. So generally, based on the accelerator, they'll pair you with a mentor, hopefully with the background you're looking for. So it kind of depends on who you're matched with, but there's a range of experience.
That is true. There are some folks, they may be former IP lawyers. They may have, as Angie said, a ton of experience. So that is a possibility as well. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Angie. We already covered the co-investment. The timeline. So someone asked about the timelines. For now, we're setting timelines of strategy, Stream 2 funding. Sorry, I can't use the word funding, legal costs. That will be 3 months. We're giving 3 months. And for Stream 3, we're giving 6 months. So we're looking for a contained sort of application that can be finished in 6 months. If your needs extend longer, we encourage you to do sort of the 6 months and then reapply for more funding in the future when yeah, just as if we extend it too long, like say it's a 2-year process, then we have to hold those funds and we can't reallocate them to other folks. So if they're maximum for the cost related to a patent filing, we don't have set maximums. We have sort of general ranges that we are looking at based on sort of basic expectations. We are aware that depending on your startup's complexity and depending on your needs, the cost could be more or less. So we will be looking to the selection committee to just decide if that's a reasonable cost. And again, we do have our maximums that we can provide to you. So that also kind of offsets the maximum that we can provide. For IP certification, someone has asked if they can bring in a team member. Yeah, so Daryl, we are limited to 1 participant per startup. So it would be best, oh, that's already been answered. Thank you, Chella. So it's 1 participant per startup, just for everyone's benefit. That person should be the person most likely to be responsible for IP at your startup. That's just due to space and for the instructors to really be able to be interactive with the whole group. They just can't handle if it's like getting too large. Thank you. And the co-investment. So I did go over the co-investment at the end. So Arvin, can you just give me a nod if the co-investment was, or give me a thumbs up if that was clear, if you need more. Can't see Arvin, but are some mentors from IP Village available? Oh, from IPIC. We don't have them as mentors in the program. No, we have mentors just from our accelerators, incubators, and collaborators. But IPIC is a great organization. Basil, you have a question? Please go ahead.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you for the presentation. It was very informative. So my question is that I'm part of the NRC IRAP IP Assist program, level 2. Now, is that similar to the Stream 2 strategy? Would that qualify me for Stream 3, or would it be better to go through Stream 2 and then onto Stream 3?
That's a great question. We are including IP Assist level 2 as a prereq for our Stream 3. So you're welcome to apply to Stream 3. You will still have to demonstrate that you have a strong IP strategy through your application form. But yes, we're considering that you don't have to do Stream 2 if you've done that program already.
Yeah, I believe I'm going to get a report compiled, so I think that should help service proof there. But thank you so much for your time and for that answer there. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And in general, just to speak about IRAP IP Assist versus AccelerateIP, I think the hope is that they'll be quite complementary. The IRAP program, I think, you have to be an IRAP client. So of course, if you're not an IRAP client, then this program is here for you. But otherwise, the IRAP program particularly helps with education awareness and some of the strategy. But in terms of the implementation, there's, I believe, less available funding. So our hope is that all of you using IRAP are getting really great resources, and that you can help leverage that into your applications with AccelerateIP. So the hope is they'll be quite complementary, and we're hoping to work with IRAP, of course, as well.
Sorry, a quick follow-up to that. So, like the IP Assist, you had to be an IRAP client in order to qualify. For AccelerateIP, that's not the case. You just have to be working with one of the providers, like Spring Activator or something like that, right?
Yeah, you just have to meet the eligibility criteria Rachel mentioned at the beginning. So basically, a tech-related startup, and a startup is a pretty broad definition in this program. 500 employees or less. So I'm sure some of you are laughing about that, but that's kind of the general definition. So yeah, you are not required to be an IRAP client for this particular program.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Angie.
Yeah.
Thanks. I see a question in the chat. How does this program affect any other IP programs such as AccelerateIP? So I just want to clarify, AccelerateIP, if it's the same program I'm thinking of, so we are part of AccelerateIP Canada-wide. So it's a ISED initiative where each organization has its own kind of version across Canada. Is that the program that you're mentioning, or is there another program that I'm unaware of?
No, I think it's confusing, Rachel, because it is AccelerateIP. So the federally funded programs is under the AccelerateIP banner. There are 5 recipients across the country that received AccelerateIP funding. So New Ventures BC, on behalf of all the partners, is one of them, and the others are across Canada. However, it was the request of ISED, who is our funder, that each program have an individual name. So we're AccelerateIP under AccelerateIP. So there's no real difference other than the name.
Thanks for clarifying, Angie. And just to add to that too, if you are receiving funding from another AccelerateIP recipient, say your operations are split between Alberta and BC, then we do ask that you disclose that on your application form, because you can only receive funding to the maximum amount allowed by AccelerateIP overall. And we prefer that you just apply with one program. I understand if your operations completely move and you only got partial funding, you would still be eligible to apply with us. But if you've maxed out, say in Ontario, you cannot apply also with BC. And then
Chang, are you able to speak? I know you're here. Are you? Let's see if he unmutes.
I am here.
Perfect, Chang. So not to put you on the spot, this was not rehearsed, but just wanted to follow up a little bit because there have been questions around mentorships and who the mentors are. And Chang, you are going to be a mentor for this program for both entrepreneurship at UBC and potentially with new ventures as well. Do you mind speaking about the role of the mentor here in the program based on your understanding?
Sure, I'd love to. Hi, everyone. So Chang Han, entrepreneurship at UBC, and I also help Angie and Rachel and the team here at New Ventures on AccelerateIP. As a mentor, one of the things that I'll be looking for is trying to understand what is the venture team or what is the company's understanding around IP generally, around how they think about their own IP, both what they have or what they might look for in the future, especially how it relates to their business strategy. And so from a business perspective, what's useful, what's valuable, what are things that they're looking out for in the ecosystem? Are they using research tools to search out their competitive landscape? So I think as a mentor, I can think about IP within the broader context of what the company may need or may desire in terms of its growth and its direction. And then where relevant, really focus in on or deep dive on certain aspects of IP, either that I've learned through the certification program here, or that I bring based on my past experience. And one of the things I might also be thinking about is when is it appropriate to suggest that they go speak to somebody who's a deep expert in a certain area. If an area of IP begins to delve into scope that's beyond my personal expertise. So that would be my initial approach as a mentor for these companies.
Perfect. Thank you, Chang. Just want to add a little bit more color to that segment. And,
Absolutely.
And focus that, our intent is for both startups to level up their knowledge of intellectual property, but particularly as it relates to growing your business. So it's not just about how many intellectual property certificates can you get, it's more about how can you use it to leverage and grow the overall value of your business. So that's kind of where we see the mentors playing a role. Rachel, there's a question that just came in from Amir, and maybe that's a good one to end it on, but that's I think that's probably a good question to answer as well.
Yeah, for sure. And Supreet, would you like to answer that one? Because it's about the vetting process for lawyers. So it might be a good one for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so we have a vetting process in place to vet service providers for the program. So in case you're already working with a service provider, we would request you to connect them with us. Or you can just email at AccelerateIP to the AccelerateIP inbox, and we can vet those service providers for the program and include them to be a part of the process as well. There is just some list of eligibility requirements that we would try to make sure that they meet, and once that gets done, we will get them enrolled in the program as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Supreet. And just on the portal too, when you are applying, we will have a list available on there of the folks that have been vetted so far. So you can check, maybe your lawyer is already on there. And if they're not, as Supreet said, you can have them reviewed by the program. How is the confidentiality guaranteed? That's a great question. We are having all organizations sign confidentiality agreements, and we're also having you sign on the portal that you understand that you don't have to disclose anything to a mentor that is, part of your IP that you don't want to disclose. You're not, required to disclose anything additional to your mentor, and your mentor also is signing a confidentiality agreement. So that's what we have put in place for that.
But to be clear, it's not a non-disclosure agreement. So definitely the focus is they can help you with your business, but they don't need to know the very secret sauce of the business.
Yes. Thank you for that question. It's an important one. And we have one from Clement. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Great presentation. It was at the very beginning, so I may have missed it. I think it was slide 3 or 4 for the eligibility criteria. You did mention innovation, like should the project have to be innovative? Do you have a definition for that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We tried to keep it broad just because some folks don't always see their company as a tech company. So we wanted to say tech startup, but some folks don't see maybe they're creating a craft beer and actually there's technology in that. So we changed it to have an innovative like technology in your company or be in the tech sector, which is more clear. If you have a concern that you're not sure if your company qualifies as tech, please reach out and we can evaluate that for you. Angie, do you have any extra to add there? Or
I think you covered it.
okay, great. It's just a tricky one because some things like a tool or like, Lululemon's fabrics, but for example, they're considered technology, but not everyone might think of it that way. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone thinks of it. I would just say the things that are definitely not covered are folks that are working in the arts. So say you have a book, something like that, copyright, or a song, something like, you're an artist. You want to be looking at different organizations for that, something like Creative BC or another organization that might be able to help you with those things, because we are looking at kind of more scalable tech companies. Any other questions?
So we have the website or a landing page for now. There will be a website. And then on that website of newventuresbc.com, under AccelerateIP, there's a link to the application portal. So that's a separate link. I think it is in the chat. And that's where you apply for pretty much everything. So the certification program, mentorship, funding, it's all under there. And if you have any questions, there's an email address. I believe it's AccelerateIP@newventuresbc.com. I think it's also in the chat. That's where you can send all of your questions. And please do send them because it will help us update this presentation as we expect to do more and more info sessions as the program continues.
Thanks, Angie. And just as a note too, when you're, emailing us, please don't put personal information in your email or private information about your company. General program inquiries are great. Please expect a little bit of a turnaround time. So we're putting 5 business days on there as a default, but we are actually really quick and we'll probably get back to you a lot faster. If you have a tech issue with the portal, like say your login isn't working, we can try to troubleshoot, but there's also SurveyMonkey Apply has tech support as well that you're able to access directly. So that's also helpful. And thank you, Chalice. She's put the link to the portal in the chat. Thanks, Faisal. It's been really great to chat with you all. We're at 12:43. If I don't see another question, we'll wrap it up here just right on time, but I'll give it 1 second just to see if anyone else might have a question before we close. And lastly, we have recorded the session, as I've mentioned, so we will put it up on our YouTube channel and we'll email it out to all the folks that are here today and maybe people that registered that weren't able to make it. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, everybody. Great. Hope to see your applications in soon. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.